Welcome, councillors, to the Dover District Council annual meeting. Item 1 on the agenda, election for chairs. Councillor Mills.
I'd like to move Councillor Beer for Chairman of the Dover District Council. This will be the second year of doing it. I've had the privilege on more than one occasion to be at the same function and events that she's spoken at, and I have to say that I think she's, in this short period of time, represented this district exceptionally well. I know the feedback I've had from voluntary and organisational groups in the district has been nothing but exceptionally positive, and I think it's only right that she gives us a second term. And I also think having a female chair actually starts to represent the demographic of society and the people that we serve.
A seconder. Thank you. Do I have any other nominees? Councillor Clinton.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I'd like to nominate Trevor Bartlett for the role of Chairman of DDC. Trevor, as you know, is the second longest serving councillor in the Chamber with a lifetime of community service. That would make him ideal for the role. This would be sufficient, you think, as a reason to nominate Trevor, but Trevor is also a people person. Everybody likes Trevor, don't they? He also has a close working relationship with his own group and with officers and, I believe, with the opposition groups. He has the respect of the chamber, plus the ability to talk and get on with everybody, which would make him an ideal ambassador for the district and therefore chairman of this council. I hope you can support his nomination.
Yeah. Seconder, Councillor Manning.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I'd like to second my colleague's eloquent words.
Do I have any other nominations? Thank you very much. We'll go to the vote. I'll pass you over to Rebecca.
Thank you. So in terms of the procedure for voting for the chairman, we have two candidates nominated. We will call for votes in favour of the first nominated, Councillor Beer. You only need to push the for button if you wish to vote in favour of Councillor Beer. We will then call for the vote for Councillor Bartlett's nomination. Again, you only need to push the for button if you are supporting Councillor Bartlett. Members can only vote once, so you can only vote for one of the two candidates. And whoever has the most votes for will be the candidate that is elected chair. Thank you. If you'd like to start the vote, please.
Of the council. Thank you, councillor. There'll be a short interlude while we're shown.
Okay. This is just a pause.
Are we ready? Right. Thank you all. For the benefit of the public and particularly those watching online, there will be a short pause in proceedings while the chain of office is fitted. So please bear with us. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. Thank you. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for your vote of confidence and kind words. I'm very pleased to be able to do another year because it has been a splendid year. Over the year, we've done some really good events. As you know, our priority is local, although not everything has been local. And anybody who's interested to see where we've been, there's a whole new section of the website. If you go to the chairman's pages and just roll past all the nice photos, which obviously are really good, but not the most important part. And you will see a list of the events and activities that we've taken part in, both myself and the vice chair. So I hope you'll all take a quick look at that. And thank you to our officers, Gemma and Gemma, for putting that new part into the website, because I think it looks really good. It's really interesting. Please do visit and go and have a look. So I'm looking forward to another good year and meeting even more interesting groups, organisations and individuals as we move around the district and beyond. Thank you, everyone. We'll go on with the meeting now. And the second item is the appointment of a vice chairman. I'll call for nominees, please. Councillor Loughman.
Thank you, Chair. After years of dedicated and constant service, I'd like to propose Councillor Cronk as Vice Chair and to continue the good job that he's been doing the past year.
Thank you. Councillor Nee, thank you. Do we have more nominations? Unopposed? We'll take a vote anyway. It will be electronic vote again, please. If you're in favour, yes. Or for. That's carried. Thank you very much. We won't need to take any more votes on that one. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
I'd just like to thank councillors for voting me. I would do another year as deputy for the chairman and helping her out for the year for doing the work. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you, everybody. Let's move to the business of the night now, and we move to item 3 with apologies. Are there any apologies? We have no apologies. I'm glad to see a full house in front of me. And we move on to the next item, which is the minutes. Please take a look at the minutes of the meeting held on 4th of March 2026. Anybody like to propose its true record? We have the Vice Chair, Councillor.
Seconder.
And seconder.
You
Yeah. Yeah. Whoever. Councillor Pout. Thank you.
I know it was other councillors.
Was it? Beg your pardon, Councillor Gloucester, you were first. Right, thank you. And we'll take the vote on the minutes, please. In favour, for. That's carried, thank you. And we move on to item 5. Do we have any declarations of interest in respect of business to be transacted on this agenda tonight? No, we have no declarations of interest. Thank you very much. Item 6, we move to announcements. I have a brief announcement. I congratulate the whole council on the fact that we have been awarded for being the district of Fair Trade Network, Dover District Council Fair Trade Network, and we have this award which I will proudly display in the chairman's office. That means obviously that we not only belong to the Fair Trade Network, that we follow their advice and guidance and we buy only fair trade items where they are available So proud to have that on your behalf and look forward to getting another one in a couple of years when this gets renewed, I hope. Are there any more announcements? No, we'll move on to item 7, composition of the cabinet, and I invite Councillor Mills.
Thank you very much, Chair. At this stage, there's no intention to change the composition of the cabinet, as obviously we're all well aware. In the past few months, it seems a lot longer than that, but I know it isn't. We've obviously recruited a new director, so there's been a change of structure within the directors team. So I think we will need to have a look at whether what we have at the moment actually fits neatly into the management team, and whether we need to look at portfolio. So, you know, I never say never. The one thing that would deliver anything though is what's right for the residents and the council. But currently there's no change.
Like to take item 8 at the same time, or would you like to do that separately?
Do you, Chair, to take item 8? So, you know, I'm going to move the same cabinet as last year. If you want me to read the names out, I'm more than happy to do that. Chair. Certainly. So, leader Councillor Mills, deputy Councillor Biggs, transport Councillor Cowan, community Councillor Wright, finance Councillor Lee, housing Councillor Brivio, and planning Councillor Biggs. Obviously, there's bits more to those portfolios, but I'll just take the first word.
Thank you. So that's been moved. Need a seconder.
I'll second that.
Who did that? You seconded.
Yeah.
Vice Chair seconded. Thank you. So move to the vote, please, on items 7 and 8 taken on block. That's carried. Thank you. And now we'd move on to item number 9, appointment of a shadow cabinet. Who'd like to speak to this one? Councillor Vincent, please.
Thank you, Chairman. There is some change here, as you would have noticed. Frustratingly, Councillor Kenton has taken all the warm words I would have said about my predecessor, and I have little to add, but to thank Trevor, who has decided after 6 years to stand down as leader of our group. It's my great privilege to have been elected by my group to lead us from here on out. And so the shadow cabinet nominations or appointments that I'll be making are for Ollie Richardson to serve as deputy leader, and also in the portfolio for transport, licensing and environmental services. Councillor Bartlett will serve as the shadow portfolio holder for community and corporate property. Councillor Bates, the finance, governance, climate change and environment portfolio. Councillor Friend continues in the housing, skills and education portfolio, and Councillor Kenton in the planning and built environment portfolio. I'll happily move that we note those.
Councillor Bartlett seconded. Thank you. And vote to note. Councillor Mills.
Well, I'm going to say it anyway, and you can tell me shut up with a go respect. I mean, I think, you know, as you know, there's been a change in leadership of the opposition and Conservative group. I think we'd like to put on record our thanks to the work that Trevor's done. I know we've not always agreed, but I've always found you a very approachable individual. I know you are popular, and basically a decent individual. And I think, you know, for that, I'll always give you credit. So thank you very much for what you've done in the district as the second longest serving councillor on this council.
I wonder who the first longest serving one is. Can't remember. Thank you. So we move to note, please, and therefore we need a vote on noting that information. That's carried. Thank you. And we move on to item 11, which is a review of the allocation of seats to political groups. And we ask Rebecca to speak to this one, please.
Thank you, Chair. So in terms of the item before us, we normally have the sheets with the committee appointments. We do have those to distribute around the chamber if members want, or alternatively, I can read them out. It's entirely up to members how they wish to do that. If you would like to have copies of them, we can circulate those now while you're waiting. So, Chair, do you have a view on that?
Can we have a show of hands if you'd like the sheet, or if you'd not like the sheet, keep your hand down. No, we're happy to hear you read them.
I was rather hoping it was the other.
Yeah.
Thank you. So in terms of the report before members tonight, it sets out the allocation of seats to political groups and non-aligned members. The allocation in the report is based on the principles of political balance and strictly complies with the 4 tests in the legislation for those committees that are required to be politically balanced. For those committees that aren't required to be politically balanced, we, as a general principle, will apply political balance to them where appropriate. As there has been no changes to the composition of the council since last May, the proposed allocation is unchanged. If members wish to vary the allocation of seats to political groups, this will require an unopposed vote. I'm proposing that the council take the business in the following order. Step 1, to appoint the committees as per paragraph 2.1 of the report and confirm group seat allocation as per the wishes of the political groups, which I now have to read out. Step 2, confirm allocation of seats to members of political groups and vote on the allocation of seats to non-aligned members. And then step 3, appoint chairs and vice chairs of committees. It is proposed the appointments be voted individually for each chair and vice chairman. However, members can move appointments en bloc for that should they wish to do so. So I will now go through the committee appointments as per the group's indications. So for the cabinet and shadow cabinet, those have already been advised. For lead members, the following lead members have been appointed by the Conservative group. Transport Licensing and Environmental Services, Councillor Hibbert. Community and Corporate Property, Councillor Beanie. Finance, Governance, Climate Change and Environment, Councillor Rose. Housing, Skills and Education, Councillor Porter. Planning and Built Environment, Councillor Back. In terms of the seats on the Dover Joint Transportation Advisory Board, there are 7 seats there. The nominations are for the Conservatives, Councillor Richardson, Back and Hibbert. For Labour, Councillor Cronk, Biggs and Park, and for the independent group, Councillor Pout. In addition, there are 7 KCC representatives, 2 CALC representatives non-voting and 3 Town Council representatives non-voting. In terms of the East Kent Services Committee, because this is less than 3 seats, it is not under the political balance requirements. As per the East Kent Services Committee agreement, the nominees must be the executive leader and deputy leader. So that is Councillor Mills and Councillor Biggs. The substitutes, I believe those are unchanged from speaking to Councillor Mills, so there will be Councillor Cowan and Councillor Nee as the substitutes. Electoral Matters Committee, Councillor Vincent, Councillor Richardson for the Conservatives, Councillor Mills for Labour, and there are 2 non-aligned seats. General Purposes Committee, Councillors Vincent and Councillor Porter for the Conservatives, Councillor Mills and Councillor Hill for Labour, Councillor Zossida for the Independent Group. In respect of Governance Committee, Councillor Bates, Councillor Knight and Councillor Mannion for the Conservatives, Councillor Loughman, Williams and Beer for Labour, Councillor Blair for the Independent Group. For Joint Staff Consultative Forum and for the Joint Health, Safety and Welfare Consultative Forum, the nominations are the same. They are Councillors Beanie and Porter for the Conservatives, Councillors Hill and Wright for Labour, Councillor Zossida for the Independent Group. I would point out that you'd maybe do this. So licensing, we have Councillors Back, Bates, Beanie, Hibbert, Mannion, Porter, Richardson for the Conservatives, Councillors Brivio, Cronk, Parks, Cowan, Hill and Williams for Labour, Councillors Blair and Murphy for the Independent Group. For Overview and Scrutiny Committee, we have Councillors Richardson, Vincent, Friend and Rose for the Conservative Group, Councillors Loughman, Parks, Williams for the Labour Group, Councillor Pout for the Independent Group and 2 non-aligned members. In respect to the Planning Committee, Councillors Back, Beanie, Knight, Woodgate, Kenton for the Conservatives, Councillors Cronk, Loughman, Nee, Williams for Labour, Councillor Pout for the Independent Group. For the Regulatory Committee, Councillors Hibbert and Richardson for the Conservatives, Councillors Cowan and Cronk for Labour, Councillor Murphy for the Independent Group. And that is the committee seat appointments for those committees. We will circulate the sheets for these afterwards so that members can have a look at them if they wish. If members are happy with the group appointments and the seats as proposed on the allocation. Chair, I would ask that we go to the vote to approve that, and then we can deal with the non-aligned member seat allocation. Thank you.
So I would ask you members to just show that you agree with all of that you've just heard, the information that you're in support by vote, please, for in favour of what we propose. I need a proposer and seconder. Councillor Mills. Councillor Cronk. So if you're in favour of those as they are, then please show with a for vote. That's carried. Thank you. That's our first. And now we'd like to look at the non-aligned members.
Thank you, Chair. So the council is required to appoint the non-aligned members to the seats. However, in this case, it is rather simple. There are 2 non-aligned member seats on the Electoral Matters Committee. We have 2 non-aligned members. And on the Scrutiny Committee, there are 2 non-aligned seats. So there are 2 non-aligned members. So that part is relatively straightforward. And in terms of the other committees, there are no allocations. Let's just double check. There are no allocations on other seats. So if members are happy to appoint Councillors Morehouse and Mamjan to both of those committees, that will fulfil the requirement to appoint the 2 non-aligned members to seats.
So I need to propose a seconder. Thank you. And yes. And I think it might be appropriate to just double check with the non-aligned members in question whether they're happy to take up those seats that we're all voting them into, or have a comment at least if you'd like to. Councillor Morehouse.
Yeah, with reference to the Electoral Matters Committee, I understand that the meetings are held during business hours, which means that I cannot attend them.
Account, thank you. So it's been proposed and seconded, so we're voting in favour of those positions. Yeah, that's passed. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, now.
Right, we're on section D. And we are now to make appointments to the positions of chairman and vice chairman for each of the ordinary committees of the council. And I'll ask Rebecca to guide us into which order we do it.
Thank you, Chair. So I suggest we work alphabetically through the committees that require a chairman and vice chairman to be appointed, first starting with the chairman, then going to the vice chairman. So on that basis, Chair, I would suggest that we take nominations for the chair of the Electoral Matters Committee first.
Nominations, please. And Councillor Wright.
Councillor Mills, couldn't remember his name.
Cheers, Bob.
Seconder, Councillor Nee seconded, thank you. Any other nominees? It's a small committee anyway. So could you all just give your assent with a for vote if you're willing? We could certainly take a proposal if you thought there should be no change to any of the chairs. That would be feasible. Councillor Mills?
I'm more than happy if council is happy to propose that there were no changes to the chairmanships.
Seconded by
I
Councillor.
mean, I'm quite happy there's no change to the vice chairmanships either. But, so on block.
Yeah.
Right, there seems to be an indication that we take it on block. So I'm going to take that since there's no dissent on that. So I'm going to propose that we vote for all the chairs and vice chairs to stay the same. Please give your view through your vote.
Actually, no, there was one change needed over scrutiny. If you could stop the voting, Chair, if I can.
Right, we'll just take a step back on that one because there's one that we'll need to change. So this is on block except for overview and scrutiny committee. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just waiting for Rebecca to
Thank you.
explain.
I think Councillor Bartlett and I realised that at the same time. Councillor Bartlett is no longer on the committee, so can't be the vice chairman. So if we can take everything else on block. And apart from that, I think we should be fine.
Councillor Vincent, yes? Did you want to speak?
Yeah, well, just for speed, can I suggest that we amend the motion to replace all the chairs and vice chairs with the same people, which obviously can't happen for the reasons just stated, and instead propose that I sit as the vice chair of overview and scrutiny, please.
No, so you're amending, somebody else could amend, because I don't know if you can amend your own, but it's an amendment to your first proposal, which is that we vote for all the same positions. But now it's all the same positions except for the vice chair of overview and scrutiny, and you're proposing Councillor Vincent for that position. Is that right?
So I suppose I think I was proposing to amend the leader's motion to appoint the same people so that we could all vote once and everything would be done.
We was meant to speed it up.
I think we all understand what we're looking for, and I'm hoping the staff are all happy with what the vote is. Do we have a clear note of what we're voting for now? All positions to be the same except for vice chair of overview and scrutiny, which is to be Councillor Vincent. Right, can you all please vote on that proposal? Yep, thank you very much. That's been very helpful. Thank you, everyone. We've made that work and go through fairly rapidly. Thank you. And that's the last item there, isn't it?
It is.
So we move on to item 12, please, calendar of ordinary meetings. Oh.
Numbers, apology, that's me.
My numbers are odd on my page, beg your pardon. Item 11, calendar of ordinary meetings is the item we're looking at now. Does anybody want to speak on the calendar?
If I could introduce it.
Yeah, I'll ask Rebecca to introduce.
Thank you, Chair. So as members will recall, they received in January the provisional list of meeting dates for the year 26-27. The following amendments have been made to the calendar since the version provisionally agreed. The meeting of full council has been moved from 21st of October 2026 to 30th of September 2026. This is to accommodate the expected changes to the planning process and delegations arising from new legislation, and that's expected to be required to be in place by the end of September. Licensing committee on 21st of October has been cancelled as the council meeting on the same date has been moved and is therefore unlikely to be sufficient business to hold it. An ad hoc meeting can be scheduled if required. The addition of a governance committee meeting on 26th November 2026 to meet proposed audit process from external auditors Grant Thornton. In accordance with the Accounts and Audit Amendment Regulations 2024, the annual governance statement and the statement of accounts, now known as the accountability statements, in respect of the financial year 25-26, must be published by 31st of January 2027. The current timetable from Grant Thornton proposes an audit process for the statement of accounts in the autumn-winter of 2026, with the presentation of the audit findings to Governance Committee in November 2026. Governance Committee moved from 11th of February to 11th of March 2027 as no longer required to be as early in the meeting cycle to comply with the Accounts and Audit Amendment Regulations 2024. Taking on feedback from members of the Governance Committee regarding sometimes heavy agendas, we have added a couple of additional governance meetings to the calendar. Whilst they aren't as evenly spaced out as we would like, it does give us the opportunity to take some agenda items that aren't restricted by statutory deadlines to the following additional meeting, while staying as close as possible to the quarterly reporting cycle. If the meeting isn't required, we can cancel it, but having it in the schedule gives members the opportunity to add it to their diaries and keep the date free. So that, Chairman, is what the report sets out. Thank you.
Thank you. Quite a few changes, but obviously you'll get the written copies as soon as it goes through. I did have Councillor Bates, but he went off again. Did you want to speak, Councillor?
No, sorry.
Okay, so I call on Councillor Vincent now, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought we'd combine our suggestions, and I wrote to all members earlier today with one, and I think Councillor Bates followed up with another. So these will be familiar to you. Firstly, can I propose that we move the date of the July 2026 council meeting back by a week to Wednesday the 15th? The reason being that the week of the 8th of July is the week of the Local Government Association Conference, which by convention is attended by sort of chief exec, leader, opposition leader or their delegates, and given the impending kind of local government reorganisation changes that we should be expecting, I imagine that the meeting itself will be heavily focused on that, and it will be quite useful for senior officers and members to be there for the conference, and they might be conflicted if there's a council meeting on that date. So I've checked as many diaries as I can, and that seems to be a reasonable change. The second change is to avoid a potential issue with a heavily congested schedule in March 2027, particularly for members, obviously all council members because it's the budget setting, but also those who serve on governance and overview and scrutiny, is to swap the dates of the governance committee on the 11th of March 2027 with the date of the Joint Transportation Advisory Board on the 18th of March, just to create a bit more space in the calendar so that members can absorb what may well be quite hefty agendas. They're the two proposed changes. And if I may, Chairman, I would just observe, I think that Councillor Morehouse made quite a good point about the timing of the Electoral Matters Committee. And even though we don't have a schedule of those meetings here because they meet on an ad hoc basis, I suppose if at the moment those meetings are held in the day, clearly quite a number of our meetings are not held in the day. It might be that through discussion with members of that committee, we could schedule them for a different time so that all members of the committee could attend. But I will, perhaps we'll deal with that separately through the chairman and work out what is going to be most helpful for getting everybody there. So the two changes I propose, Chairman, just a reminder, are the one to the 8th of July council meeting, and then the March governance and JTAB meetings next year.
Thank you. Yeah, I can confirm that we had positive noises here, Councillor Morehouse, so you don't need to worry. I'm sure, when it's a small and significant committee that members of the committee are heard. So I don't think we need to worry about that. I'm sure that you'll be accommodated. So we have two changes proposed. Councillor Mills.
Chair, more than happy to support the change for the governance. I think it was the 11th to the 18th, but you won't be surprised that I do object to changing the date of full council. There's been times when I've been away from full council, my deputy stepped in to cover me. Life goes on. I'd love to be in a position on the 8th of July to actually know what the hell's going on with local government reform. I'm not actually sure we will be. And I just think because certain individuals are away, we don't counsel and we don't change. I think whenever you have it, and I think these dates were published, what did you say, January time, I know that I've arranged, and this is a personal thing, but I really don't care about me. I'm driving back from Yorkshire to be at a full council meeting. So at the end of the day, I don't think we should change it because a couple are away. I've been away from council, but I've never asked to have it changed because at the end of the day, I know I've got a very competent deputy and I trust the council in its entirety to still go ahead and make business and to carry it out. If I don't know who your delegates are to the LGA conference, but I know whoever they are, you will leave behind capable people, be it either your deputy or the previous leader who we heard so much positive stuff about, quite rightly so. So no, I oppose the change of the date. I think the 8th is the right. I think we moved to the 15th. It is likely to inconvenience a number of other people. So if we go round tonight and there's 3 people that can't make it, we'll be changing yet again and yet again. I think actually moving to the 15th actually could be even nearer to the school half term and therefore, impede those with children from having rightful time off. So, I believe that the 8th should stay as the 8th, but I'm happy to recommend that the governance one is changed as per the recommendation. And as an aside, I'm happy to look to change the times of the electoral matters. But if councillors can't make meetings, it is useful to actually have an apology. So we can look to rearrange those.
Councillor Nee and then Councillor Bates.
Thank you, Chair. I can accept all alterations to facilitate good business, because as a council we need to create good business. If I speak for myself, the 15th of July doesn't work for me, so perhaps we could put it another week across. I think Councillor Mills' point is that we've got dates. This date has already been proposed. It's already in my diary with the assumption that it was going to be going ahead. I say no reason to change this for personal reasons. I will always facilitate a change for council business, so I can't support this.
Councillor Bates.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I can understand Councillor Mills' arguments in terms of the fact that probably the two councillors cancel themselves out as far as the meeting would be concerned. But my main concern is with the date of the council meeting being at the time of the LGA. The LGA could possibly be used as a platform for announcements on changes to the unitaries, which would be of great benefit for us to be informed about. And as representatives of the council going to the LGA meeting, they will be in a position to come back and report back to us. And I think that would be, I would like to therefore second this motion, Councillor Vincent's motion. Thank you.
Councillor Loughman.
Thank you, Chair. Given Councillor Mills and me talking regarding the moving of the July meeting, which I support the keeping of the July meeting as it is, I would also like to thank Councillor Bates for raising the issue regarding governance and oversight and scrutiny, because there was significant amount of work that councillors had to do, an important scrutiny work and important governance work regarding our accounts and audit reports, etc. So I will oppose the joint motion of both dates and hope that we can ensure that the oversight and scrutiny and governance proposal is separately proposed and we can accept that.
Right, so at the moment the proposal is for two different dates to be moved, and we will need to take a vote as that is on that proposal. What follows after that is up to members. So we'll take a vote on the two changes. Councillor Vincent?
Well, so my understanding is that from what I've just heard, there's no objection to the proposals around the governance and JTAB changes. So what I'm hearing is a proposal to kind of against the change to the July one. So with your permission, can I just sort of wrap up the comments on the July one and then propose that maybe we vote on them separately?
Well, it would be tidier if we could just vote on this one, and then you're very welcome to bring back something separate. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. So just to check, we have currently the proposal from Councillor Vincent for the date set out in the report with the amendments talked about, plus the council meeting date change and the March meeting. So that's currently what I believe we have as the motion on the floor. So you can move a amendment to that to delete part of the motion, so you could look to deal with that. I mean, I think possibly at the point we're at is we have unanimity around pretty much everything except for the July council date. So we could take the vote as is for everything, and then if that's successful we have a complete change. If it's not, then it would be for somebody to move something else, or we could look to make amendments. I just thinking around negation, and it's probably cleaner to take the amendment, probably cleaner to take the vote on it as is proposed, because you're getting into the whole negation and displacement by trying to move one of the dates that way. So it's probably, if that's what members wish to move, is that we take a vote on the report as set out with Councillor Vincent's two amendments. If that's carried, then we've resolved and that matter's solved. If it's not, then we can look at a new motion to come forward, I would suggest, Chair.
Thank you. That'll be quicker and tidier, I think, in the long run. So if we could please vote, which is for the whole of the series of dates in the calendar, plus the amended 2 parts. Take your vote on that one, and then we'll look again. Feel free. I think we all understand where we are. Do you
No,
want
no.
to change?
Well, I've only heard from 3 people in the chamber, but I guess
Indeed.
whenever I'm just exercising my right to sort of wrap up after a motion. So just to address a couple of the points on the school holiday point raised by Councillor Mills. If you look in the pack, obviously the proposal isn't in the school holidays. As a parent of school age children, I know others in the chamber are. I know that there's no conflict there. One of the things that, just to clarify something Councillor Nee made, this isn't a kind of a personal request. This is simply a pragmatic one. We are members of the Local Government Association, as are the vast majority of councils around the country, and it would be completely reasonable for us to attend their conference, at which usually the Secretary of State speaks and makes significant announcements relating to local government. It would be unusual if members found themselves in a conflict were there to choose either to attend full council, where we are very finely balanced, or go to that important conference. That's the reason for the proposal. The final suggestion I would just say to members is that the conference is something that we cannot move. Whereas our meeting, the whole point of us approving the schedule of meetings, as we've heard from all of the other suggestions, is so that we can adjust them to best fit availability and the calendars we've got in the year ahead. We're in control of when our meetings are, so that if we want to avoid that conflict, this is the only thing that we can change. If members don't want to do that, they're effectively accepting that members may not be able to fully attend to fulfil their council duties, or won't be able to represent this council at the Local Government Association's conference. I don't think that's optimum when we've got the opportunity to do something else, and that's the reason for the proposal.
Now we'll go to the vote. Thank you. That fails. Would anybody like to give us a new motion, Councillor Mills?
As outlined for governance, were amended as per the Leader of the Opposition's initial speech. I think it was 11th to the 18th off the top of my head.
And are accepted otherwise?
And other than that, the full calendar is accepted as published.
Right. Would anybody like to speak to that, Councillor Bates? Seconded by Councillor Bates. Thank you. I think we've had a good debate, so I'd like to move us straight to the vote on this one, please. So we're voting for the calendar plus one amendment. Thank you. That's carried. And the next item. Yeah. Is the annual report of the Governance Committee. Am I right? Chairman of the Governance Committee, would you like to start?
Sorry, everyone, I lost my page. Yeah, so before you is the annual report for Governance Committee. We've had quite a challenging year with the recommendations that came forward from the external auditors. I think it's no secret that I haven't always agreed with the external auditors or the internal auditors based on their opinions. However, what I will say is all the officers took everything on board, and the progress that has been made this year has been fantastic, in spite of the fact that there have been resource problems and system problems. And so we're in a really good position going forward. And so I obviously propose this as it is, and I'm pleased with the work that's going forward. And I think actually all the officers need to be commended for the work that they've put in order to be in the position we are now.
Can I second that?
You can.
Hi, I'd like to second that the note this report, and as a member of the committee, not as a chairman, I'd like to also support Councillor Blair's view that it's a very successful committee in that it really gets down to the most important things about our whole council, and all members can be assured that that committee is working well. So congratulations to the chair as well as the officers. That I think it's a very successful committee as a member, not as a chair. So has anybody else got anything they'd like to say about the report of the governance committee? Councillor Bates.
Yeah. Last year, when I responded to the chairperson's report by describing the role of governance like a knowledge journey for us, and this year I saw our activities as a continuation of that, not only for us members, but also for the officers and auditors who share this journey with us. I believe there is a growing confidence in the dialogue between us, which is reflected in a belief that we're actually being listened to. As a consequence, I feel that the role of the governance committee is working, that its impact is really making a difference, and that we're becoming more focused around the areas in which we must hold the executive to account, and that this is translating into a more effective approach to managing risks and the council's compliance with the audit recommendations put forward by both the external and internal auditors. Much of this improvement I would also put down to the increase in our training, which has enabled us to translate detailed financial papers and risk registers more confidently. The ability of officers to take on board and act upon recommendations is recognised, but there still remain concerns, and we need to ensure that we do not relax our vigilance in this respect. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. No further speakers, so the move is to note the report, and I'll ask you to vote now, please. That's carried. Thank you very much, everyone. And we move on to the next report, which is the annual report of overview and scrutiny. And I'll ask the chair of overview and scrutiny to address us, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm grateful to be the chairman of overview and scrutiny, and I'm glad that I'm carrying on again this year. The report, I think, highlights the absolutely massive amount of work that we've carried out this year. The final page listing all of the items that we've considered. And so I'm grateful to all of the officers, Rebecca helping us out in the committee, and all the officers that have come along to the committee, particularly those that have sat often through quite long meetings all the way to the end. So I'm grateful for their hard work throughout the year. Obviously, we'd prefer that Cabinet accept all of our recommendations, but there we go. We are where we are, particularly as I think in scrutiny, being a cross-party group, I think we often ask some more probing questions than we sometimes see at Cabinet in the so-called debate. So I would urge maybe in the next year that Cabinet maybe take us a little bit more seriously. On public speaking, it's mentioned in the report. I've been more than happy, I suppose, to allow as much public speaking as possible. And with Rebecca's advice, we've often waived some of the rules on public speaking to make sure that people have been able to speak on, when I say waive the rules, by the way, within the rules, I mean, you know, it's not reckless, by the way, so that we can speak on petitions, people can speak on internal papers, but also members of the public have been able to talk on some external items, such as the deal phlebotomy services that has rightly been pointed out in 4.3 as a significant achievement. So we were, again, very grateful to be able to speak on that item. And again, I thank Councillor Friend for pushing that so much. And it speaks to the cross-party work that the committee does. Some other notable achievements, I suppose, on things like Southern Water. I think it was excellent work, again, of the cross-party committee, not blaming anyone, by the way, about Southern Water. Not right now, no, maybe they don't work there anymore. it was a great achievement for us to be able to hold those people accountable and other people that are in power accountable, because that is one of the remits, isn't it, of our committee, that we speak on any item that is pertinent to this district. So it's not just about holding this council, this cabinet to account. It's about looking wider than that as well. So I hope that you are all happy to note and accept this report, because I think the committee has done an exceptional amount of work, and I hope that we continue to do that over the coming year. So thank you, and I propose that we note the report.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hill? Yeah, thank you. So it's proposed and seconded. Nobody wants to speak. So could we please go to the vote that this report is noted? Thank you very much. And we move on to our next item, which is the revised complaints policy. I'll ask Rebecca to address us.
Thank you, Chair. Members will be aware that this has been through Cabinet this week. As it covers executive and council functions, it goes both to Cabinet and Council. In summary, the report before us is making a number of changes that are identified by the Housing Ombudsman in a review of our policy. We have accepted all of those changes and have sought to incorporate them and made a few other improvements while we had the opportunity. The policy itself still remains relatively robust. I think it doesn't, we haven't had any problems with the application of it. The actual changes are set out in the report that we've identified. I think other than that, Chair, I have nothing further to add.
Thank you. Councillor Nee, please.
Thank you, Chair. All the updates are both pertinent and apposite and do tidy up the complaints policy, but I think it's very important that as a council we note that it's not because of any failing in how we dealt with complaints. I've been overseeing complaints for the last year, and I'm more than impressed with the quality of how we monitor and deal with complaints. Indeed, the complaint handling process has been improved substantially through various processes over the last year or so. So I do commend, and I move that we accept the recommendation.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Wright, thank you. Would anybody like to speak to the complaints policy? We are asked here to approve this policy, not just to note. Can we take the vote on approval, please? That's passed. Thank you very much. Next item. Community governance review, stage 1 responses. We'll start hearing Rebecca.
Thank you. I will know that we have Tracy here. We'll be dealing with the more detailed technical aspects of this. I'll just provide a short overview. So as members are aware, we approved a community governance review to look at the numbers of town and parish councillors. The consultation period has been conducted, and from that we have developed some recommendations. Those recommendations were considered by the Electoral Matters Committee, which recommended 2 changes to those set out in the report. There has been some discussion around one of the town councils that didn't make a representation as part of it. I understand that subsequently they have issued a decision at their council meeting in terms of a response. What I would say is that we can only go by the consultation responses provided during the consultation window to us. Any town and parish council, in fact, we would hope all towns and parish councils would respond to the second wave of consultation and put forward any comments, including either agreeing with what is set out before them or recommending something different. It's for members of the council tonight to determine what's to go forward as draft recommendations. That second round of consultation will run from 12 weeks from the 18th of May to the 7th of August. So, yeah. If you have any, obviously, detailed technical questions, I'll bring Tracy in to deal with all that. So other than that, Chair, it's for members to decide what to proceed.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments on this initial report from the Electoral Services Manager? Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, thank you. Just to shed a little bit of light on what Rebecca has just said, the town council in question is Walmer, who voted not to respond to the initial consultation. It was my privilege to sit on the Electoral Matters Committee last year and again this year. I don't know quite why they decided not to respond, but that is for them to know. So I went along to the meeting where they discussed the fact that the Electoral Matters Committee had decided to propose a reduction in their numbers from 15 to 12. And I suspect that if we agree that that's what we want to do here tonight, then we will see them make a fervent case that they should be kept the same. And the reasoning behind that is that they hold a lot of events. They've got 4 different wards across Walmer, sort of reducing the numbers and upsetting the balance between the electorate probably wouldn't be wise. Initially, the proposals that we had in the report were to keep it at 15 anyway. And it was only because, and Tracy may well correct me here, it was only because those people, members of the public who responded, unanimously said they wanted to see fewer councillors in Walmer. I think most of them said they wanted to see fewer to the point where the council wouldn't have legally existed. That's for others to comment on. The reason I give you this context, members, is just because I think that actually if we vote to proceed with what the Electoral Matters Committee recommended, what will happen is Walmer will take the time to respond saying they don't like it. We will then take officer time to change it back to 15 potentially. We will come back and discuss it again. I'm suggesting an additional amendment to the proposals we get in front of us, which is in addition to the 2 changes that the Electoral Matters Committee recommended, we also keep Walmer's town councillors at 15, just to avoid a sort of circular paper trail of getting consultation responses and what have you. Now, if members want that to happen, that's fine. I get it. We've all got to vote, but I would propose that we make that change at council.
Thank you. Would anybody like to respond? Councillor Mills.
I heard the discussion because I serve on Electoral Matters Committee, but at the end of the day, we've gone out and we've had round 1. We don't have a round 1A because certain towns and parish councils didn't bother feeding in. We then go to round 2, at which they have the opportunity. Because the question would be, if we do that, do we then go out to Stourmouth where there's a recommendation and Denton and Wootton and say, actually, this is what we're recommending, but what would you like? Because we'd really like to hear what you say before we get to the round. No, it's called it's about what the public want. And I am under no illusion, I said at the meeting, Walmer Parish Council who took a decision not to take part in the first round of consultation. Don't ask me why, but the one thing I learned from a very young age was every decision has a consequence. And the consequence here was the majority of those that fed back said we want less councillors, almost to the point of some said we don't want any. That's where we are. But I know, and you know, that in phase 2 or round 2, they will feed in. But what concerns me most also is the fact that we've gone out and we're looking just at numbers. We're not looking at boundaries. And, this council didn't want to look at boundaries. And I thank those that said no, including Councillor Rose at the time. But, what we need to do is actually listen to the electorate and then let them make a decision on phase 2. I know very little about Wootton and Denton other than it's got a very small boundary at the cricket pitch because I scored a 4 there once, and Stourmouth and Parish very little again. And that's not being derogatory of them. It's not areas I understand. They know their makeup better than anybody else. We know the feedback we've got. I would suggest that we actually consult purely on the document that has been put in front of us by the Electoral Matters, the Electoral Services Committee. I don't think this council should accept the recommendations made by the Electoral Matters Committee, which was only just caught because only 3 of us turned up, and let the public decide. Because at the end of the day, we've heard great say about we're elected and this is all about democracy. Well, what's more important, what we believe or what the public in those areas actually believe? So I would recommend that we do not take any cognizance of the phase or round 1A consultation with Walmer Parish Council. We move to round 2, and that the recommendations to the council from the Electoral Matters Committee are not accepted, and we actually just consult on the document that has been produced by the Electoral Services Committee based on the feedback that was received that every parish and town council got, and we go forward on that, and then we do review it. And I don't care if we have to meet at 6 o'clock in the evening for 5 hours for 3 nights running till we do it, because I strangely believe that's about democracy, accountability, and people being represented at what is a really important level, and that is towns and parishes. Not for us to dictate to them, for them to tell us what they want.
Councillor Nee and then Councillor Cronk.
Thank you, Chair. I can only make a decision based on responses. I can't make a decision based on hearsay because we've. Pardon? It's not in the consultation. Beg your pardon. So I'm prepared to vote on the results of the consultation. I'm not prepared to vote on any additions to it because they're not there as a response to the consultations.
Are you seconding?
Yeah.
Councillor Cronk.
I was going
Right.
to second Kevin's motion.
Right. So we've had a proposal. We've had a proposal from this side. We didn't have to second it. We had a proposal from this side, and Councillor Cronk's just seconded it. So the proposal is.
Thank you, Chair. So the proposal is as per the report, not including the Electoral Matters Committee recommendations. So that is what is before members. Thank you.
So just to clarify, we're only agreeing that we would like the second round of consultation to go ahead, which means everyone has a good chance to further make input into this whole debate and discussion. So that's what we're proposing at the moment. We're not proposing to accept what's already been put together. Yeah. Yeah. So can we take a vote on that, please? Yeah.
I know it's been a long day. I'm getting confused. Can I just confirm then that what we're actually voting on now is the document that was produced and put before the Electoral Matters Committee without the amendments on Stourmouth, Wootton. Thank you very much.
Provided.
As outlined by. Thank you. And can I also, before we finish, put on record my thanks to the Electoral Services Committee for the work that they've done in this, because of, you know, it can be extremely annoying trying to get consultation and getting feedback. But I think they've done a fantastic job at the start of the process, and obviously that hasn't finished yet.
Yep.
Thank you, Chair. So just for the avoidance of all doubts, the recommendations in the report are to note the responses received during the first stage of consultation and to approve the draft recommendations as set out in the report for a second round of consultation running for 12 weeks from 18 May to 7th August 2026. Thank you, Chair.
And the vote is to approve. Thank you. That's carried. Thank you very much. Housing asset management strategy has been withdrawn. And so we move to urgent business time. We've not been made aware of any. So I would like to close the meeting with very many thanks. I need to read the closure notice for you. Thank you, everyone. That concludes the meeting. I would like to wish a good evening to members, officers, and all those watching the meeting online. Please could I ask Democratic Services to end the meeting broadcast and confirm when this has been done.